The moment you feel utterly isolated is not where you break. Carl Jung revealed that this is the moment you actually awaken. The separation slicing through you. The betrayal that knocked the ground from under you. The realization that no one is coming to pull you out. These are not indicators of collapse. They are signals that your inner self is prepared for the deepest work you'll ever face. The work of becoming complete. The work of standing alone so you can finally rise. This is about creating your own light when every outer one shuts off. You have been operating under a dangerous illusion. The illusion that you need others to make you whole. The illusion that external support defines your value. The illusion that you cannot survive, let alone grow, without constant reassurance and rescue. Jung pierced straight through this comforting falsehood. He understood that depending entirely on others for your emotional foundation isn't connection. It is psychological reliance that keeps you small. The people you wait on, the approval you pursue, the salvation you hope for. These outside props keep you from uncovering the unbreakable resilience that forms only in solitude. Here is the truth no one warns you about regarding being alone. It forces you to confront yourself without distraction. Every insecurity, every fear, every truth you denied. When there is no one to blame, no one to repair you, no one to lighten your load, you finally see what you're built from. And this terrifies most people. They would rather remain dependent, remain limited, remain waiting than face the mirror that solitude holds up. But Jung taught that this confrontation is not punishment. It is initiation. The ache of aloneness is your soul trying to free you from the cage of external dependence. Jung called this the persona issue. You have worn a mask for so long that you forgot it wasn't your real face. You molded yourself into whatever others required. The obedient child, the reliable friend, the self-sacrificing partner. You learned to read every environment and reshape yourself to fit it. You perfected the skill of comforting everyone else while suffocating your true identity. This mask feels safe because it earns praise. But it is draining the life out of you. And now, with no audience left to perform for, the mask is splitting. This is not a breakdown. This is breakthrough. The accumulated shadow, everything you buried to maintain that polished exterior, is demanding to be acknowledged. Your anger at being exploited, your resentment at being unseen, your fury at abandoning yourself for people who never deserved your loyalty. These are not wicked emotions. They are truth fighting to rise. Jung discovered that those who hide behind flawless masks become unconsciously dangerous. Not necessarily to others, but to themselves. All that rejected energy builds like pressure in a sealed container. Eventually, it erupts. Your current crisis is that eruption. The loneliness you feel is not emptiness. It is overflow. Years of suppressed truth rushing into awareness at once. That is why it hurts so intensely. You are not losing yourself. You are locating yourself. And that requires grieving everything you pretended to be. Every compromise you swallowed. Every moment you said yes when your whole being screamed no. Every connection where you gave everything and were given nothing. Let it ache. Let it burn. Let it tear you open. Because beyond this pain is the person you were meant to grow into. The first lesson solitude brings is harsh. Turn loneliness into strength. Stop labeling your isolation as punishment. Start recognizing it as preparation. You are not alone because you are unworthy. You are alone because you are being shaped into someone who cannot be broken by someone else's absence. This is individuation. Jung's process of becoming psychologically complete. It means creating a conscious relationship with your unconscious. It means facing your darkness instead of casting it onto others. It means becoming your own source of illumination instead of eternally chasing it in other people. Think about all the energy you've drained trying to keep people around, trying to prove your value, trying to earn love that should have been freely offered. All that desperate effort to avoid solitude prevented you from discovering who you become when you stop running from it. Jung taught that the real threat is not the darkness itself. The real threat is remaining blind to your own darkness. When you refuse to face your shadow, you hand it total control. It slips out in forms you do not identify. You become the clingy one, the resentful one, the victim, while believing you are something entirely different. Conscious awareness shifts everything. You look directly at your hurt and ask what it is here to show you. You stop depending on outside rescue and begin forming inner steadiness. You realize that every person who left actually helped you. They forced you to stop outsourcing your emotional survival. They pushed you into the flames that create self-reliance. This is not about becoming cold or detached. It is about becoming complete, about building something solid inside you that does not collapse just because someone else lets you down. The second transformative lesson is learning how to soothe yourself. You have spent your whole life searching for comfort outside your own skin. Someone to reassure you. Someone to hold you when everything hurt. Someone to validate your suffering so it felt real. This is human, this is natural. But it is also a trap, because when you hand over your emotional regulation to others, you strip yourself of power. Jung noted that psychologically developed individuals cultivate what he called the inner parent. The part of you capable of witnessing your own pain without collapsing under it. The part that can hold you steady through difficulty without needing someone else to do the holding. This is not a rejection of connection. This is learning to meet your own needs first so that relationships enrich you instead of defining your stability. You start to sit with discomfort without immediately reaching for distraction. You begin to feel your emotions fully instead of expecting someone else to make them disappear. You discover that everything required for your healing already lives inside you. The comfort you seek is internal. It always has been. You just never relied on it because outside sources felt easier. But easier never made you stronger. Easier only kept you dependent. Harder builds capacity. Practice this every day. When loneliness rises, instead of instantly calling someone or numbing yourself with noise, sit in it. Notice where it lands in your body. Ask what it wants. Often loneliness has nothing to do with missing other people. It is about missing yourself, the self you abandoned to satisfy everyone else, the self you dismissed because it didn't match what others expected. That self is calling you back. And the only way home is by walking through the pain of realizing how far you drifted from your truth. The third lesson may be the most challenging. Self-validation. You spent your life letting other people decide your worth. If they praised you, you mattered. If they ignored you, you didn't. This put your self-esteem at the mercy of other people's moods and projections. You became hooked on approval like a fix, always chasing another dose, always crashing when it didn't show up. It's draining, it's unsustainable, and it is why you feel so hollow now that external admiration has faded. Jung taught that integrated individuals trust their own perception. They know what they know. They honor what they value. They acknowledge what they need without apology or constant checking to see if others agree. This is not arrogance. This is sovereignty. You become the authority of your own existence. Not loudly, not defensively, but quietly, firmly, immovably. You stop trying to convince those who cannot see your worth. You stop performing for validation. You stop justifying yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. This shift feels lonely in the beginning because you are used to external approval making your reality feel real. But that approval was always unstable. It changed with people's unresolved issues, their moods, their distortions. It was never about you. It was always about them. True self-validation is realizing that your worth is not negotiable. You exist. You feel. You perceive. You know things about your own inner world that no one else can touch. And that knowing is enough. You do not need a choir of agreement to trust yourself. Start small. Notice when you question your own perception because someone else interprets things differently. Notice when you silence your feelings because someone claimed you were too emotional. Notice when you apologize simply for needing, wanting, or being. Every time you catch yourself doing this, pause. Breathe. Remind yourself, my experience is valid. I trust what I know. I honor what I feel. This is not ego. This is integration. This is returning to yourself. The fourth lesson changes everything. Using failure as fuel. Jung found that the shadow holds not only your darkness but your unused power. Each failure, each rejection, each time you fell short, something in you learned. You mapped the landscape of human nature. You noticed patterns. You developed intuition. You stored insights that now, Finally, without distraction or pretended harmony, you can access clearly. Your failures were not meaningless. They were a structured education in what not to accept, who not to rely on, how not to abandon yourself. This is shadow work, taking every wound and extracting its wisdom. You do not have to feel grateful for harm. You do not have to absolve those who hurt you. But you can use what happened to become someone who cannot be shattered again. Think about it. Every betrayal sharpened your ability to read people. Every abandonment strengthened your resilience. Every moment you were alone and managed to endure proved that the strength you searched for in others lived in you all along. Jung observed that people who integrate their shadow become unexpectedly powerful. They merge gentleness with unshakable resolve. They offer kindness to those who earn it and hold fierce boundaries with those who don't. They waste none of their energy on people who refuse to meet them with sincerity. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. You stop giving your pearls to those who will trample them. You stop setting yourself on fire just to warm someone else. You become deliberate with your energy, your time, your compassion. And this selectiveness is not selfishness. It is wisdom earned through suffering. Sit with your failures. Write each one down. Then beside every failure, note what it revealed to you. The boundary you needed, the pattern you overlooked, the warning sign you dismissed. Every painful moment contains instruction. Your task is not to dodge pain. Your task is to pull insight from it so you never repeat the same cycles. This is how you shift from victim into strategist. This is how pain becomes fuel rather than venom. The fifth lesson builds an unshakable will, cultivating inner willpower. Emotional independence does not come naturally. You were designed for connection. Infants cannot survive without touch. Children rely on attachment. Human beings are social creatures. But at some point, healthy interdependence distorted into unhealthy dependence. You learned not to trust your own inner compass. You learned that others' opinions carried more weight than your own truth. You learned to silence your instincts to preserve relationships that were quietly destroying you. Inner willpower means choosing your internal reality over external pressure. When the world insists you are wrong, you trust what you know. When others try to shame you into staying small, you choose expansion anyway. When people withdraw approval as a means of control, you release them. At first, this feels terrifying, like stepping into empty space. But Jung discovered that beneath that apparent cliff is solid ground, your own ground. A foundation built when you stop borrowing stability from others. This takes consistent practice. Every day you will encounter situations where your old self would have crumbled, apologized, minimized. The new self pauses, breathes, chooses differently. Maybe it looks like saying no without justifying it. Maybe it looks like holding your truth while others argue. Maybe it looks like leaving a conversation that dishonors your dignity. Each small act strengthens the muscle. Each boundary held builds resilience. Each time you honor your inner knowing over someone else's comfort, you become more unshakable. People will test this. They will push back. They will attempt to drag you into old patterns. Let them. Your responsibility is not to persuade them. Your responsibility is to stay grounded. To keep choosing yourself, to develop a core so steady that external chaos cannot break your alignment. This is not about becoming rigid. This is about becoming integrated, gentle and open to those who earn it, firm and impenetrable with those who don't. The sixth lesson is profound, turning silence into clarity. Solitude is not the same as isolation. Isolation is imposed. Solitude is chosen. And when solitude is chosen, something transformative happens. The noise stops. The endless input from others, their expectations, their demands, their judgments, fades. And in that stillness, you finally hear your own truth. Your authentic voice. The one you buried beneath years of people-pleasing. The one that already knows what you want, what you need, what you refuse to accept. Jung called this conscious discrimination. The ability to distinguish your own psychological material from what you have absorbed from others. Most people never develop this capacity. They carry around other people's fears, expectations, and criticisms as if these burdens were their own. They feel guilty about things that were never their responsibilities. They feel ashamed of traits that are actually their strengths. They feel lost because they are following scripts written by people who never truly understood them. Silence dissolves this confusion. You sit alone. You breathe. You ask yourself questions and give them space to be answered. Not the answers you think you owe. Not the answers others want from you. The answers that rise from your truest center. What do I actually desire? What do I genuinely need? What do I truly value? These questions terrify most people because the honest responses may require dismantling everything. Leaving a job, ending a relationship, admitting you've been living a life shaped by others. But suppression does not erase these truths. It only pushes them into the shadow where they ferment and corrupt everything. Jung taught that consciousness is uncomfortable but essential. You cannot transform what you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot heal what you continue to deny. And you cannot become whole while scattering yourself across other people's expectations. Silence gives you the room to gather your fragmented pieces and rebuild yourself according to your own blueprint. Make silence sacred. Daily time alone without devices, without noise, without escape. Just you and your breath. Just you and your thoughts. Just you and the truth you've been running from. Let it rise. Let it speak. Let it show you who you are beneath all that conditioning. This is not pleasant, but comfort is overrated. Clarity is liberation. The seventh and final lesson is learning to become your own source of light. You were conditioned to believe that meaning arrives from the outside. From success, from relationships, from acknowledgement, from achievements defined by other people's standards. This left you dependent on forces you could never control. When external praise faded, you felt directionless. When relationships fell apart, you felt hollow. When accomplishments failed to satisfy, you felt lost because you placed your center outside of yourself. You allowed people and circumstances to dictate your inner world. Jung found that integrated individuals generate meaning from within. They do not wait for purpose to arrive. They shape it themselves. They know what matters to them. They know why they live. They know what their existence represents, not because someone assigned them meaning, but because they chose it. This is radical responsibility. Not responsibility for what happens to you, but for how you transform what happens. Not responsibility for others' behavior, but for your own responses. You become your own light by refusing to live as a reaction, by consciously selecting your values, by constructing a life anchored in your truth regardless of external approval. This is not instantaneous. This is the work of years. But it begins here, in your solitude, in your pain, in your deepest loneliness. You have no option but to create your own light because every external one has gone dim. And this involuntary transformation, this harsh initiation, is the greatest gift you will ever receive. One day you will look back on this period and recognize it as the turning point of your life. The moment you stopped waiting for rescue and chose to rescue yourself. The moment you stopped searching for your identity in others and recognized it in your own reflection. The moment you became psychologically whole, not flawless, not finished, but complete. Capable of love that does not drain you. Capable of connection that does not require you to vanish. Capable of standing alone without feeling abandoned. This is what Jung meant by individuation. You reclaim every rejected piece. You trust your own perception. You cultivate your own stability. You become the person you always needed. Not because others evolved, but because you did. Not because conditions improved, but because you outgrew the need for conditions to determine your inner world. You became sovereign. And sovereignty cannot be granted by anyone else. It is something you claim when you stop waiting for permission to become who you were meant to be. You are alone right now for a purpose. Not because you lack worth, but because you are being prepared for a life rooted in unapologetic truth. For relationships where you arrive whole rather than needy. For a future where external validation is pleasant but never essential. You are being tempered in the fire of solitude into something unbreakable. Trust the process. Honor the pain. Do the work. Your loneliness is not your curse. It is your becoming. Subscribe for more insights into Jung's revelations on the movement from dependence to sovereignty, from external approval to inner authority, from loneliness to wholeness. Thanks for watching. See you in the next dimension.